Good day, my Poke Adventures. Welcome on in. So, yeah, that's it. The game is over. It was good. I enjoyed it immensely. Of course, that's coming from a bit of bias because growing up, I played the shit out of Pokemon Crystal. Yeah, it was actually my favorite generation. So, yeah. Buys them, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys, that I'm not biased against it because, I am. But yeah, overall, I feel like that Smith Plays and his team did very well on it. Everything was balanced. I like how they brought like Pokemon that you would like generally catch like post game or near the end of the game. He put them in like a little sooner, like Larvitar. Let me tell you, Larvitar is like one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. So I'm glad that I was able to capture it, just, like in the Dark Cave, which is like, just a few routes out, So, yeah, I really enjoyed having a Larvitar like throughout the whole game. The only thing that kind of ruins it for me was the fact that the rival ended up catching one himself, and then like he had his own special like animation with it, like where it evolved early for him and all that. So like that kind of bummed me out just a little bit, but at the same time I was happy that that happened. So yeah, that was good. Let me see what else. No, like I said, I just feel like everything was like well balanced. Like Pokemon was at the appropriate level. The level caps were awesome. I enjoyed the level caps. Just to make things a little harder. The team's pretty. Like the teams, like the gym leaders and all that, pretty good. Like, like those were a little tougher, which is what I've always wanted. Some of them had more some of them had more Pokemon. More than one, which is good because it just didn't make no sense. Let me see. I enjoyed the fact that you could rebattle gym leaders. That was excellent. I really enjoyed that. Like I like coming back and like, for instance, Falconer. Like you can basically trounce him if you have like Rock or if you have like an electric Pokemon, which I don't remember whether I don't think I had one. But still though, like I like the fact that he has a final team and all that. That you can come back and face him at stronger. Of course, at the same time, like the rematches weren't that tough, only because by that point in time, you can pretty much have a full team of like electrics, for instance, for Falconer, and just trounce his ass. But no, like it was very thoughtful to do that. I like the fact that you can catch every single Pokemon that you didn't need like nothing special. Like like hey, you can capture everything. Just you're not gonna be able to capture everything at once. Like for instance, Mew and Mewtwo, it makes sense to capture those towards the very end because they're supposed to be the toughest. What else did I find interesting? Let's see. What I liked was that the last 3 gym leaders in Kanto, they actually had something special about them. Like Blaine. Hold on. No, it wasn't the last 3 gym leaders. Certain gym leaders would give you the bird Pokemon, the legendary bird Pokemon. So for instance, if you beat Lieutenant Surge, like after that, if you went to the power plant, you could actually capture Zapdos. After you defeat Blaine, you can capture Moltres, in Victory Road, and after you defeat Blue, you can capture Articuno near Blaine's gym. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting way to introduce the legendary bird Pokemon. What I also liked was that those 3. Let me think. Like those 3 had the legendary bird Pokemon. Okay, I know Blaine and Blue did. I can't remember if Lieutenant Surge did. I don't think he did, but I like the fact that they were in their teams. Let me see. I like that Red, like his, like he actually had a Mewtwo in his party. Like it actually made it. Well, it really did make it really didn't make it too difficult. But I mean, I like the fact that they gave him like a rare Pokemon as well. Because originally, from what I remember, it was an Espeon. Which I mean, come on, Espeon's a good sidekick Pokemon. But come on, you're not beating Mewtwo. You know what I mean? That's like the best sidekick Pokemon in the damn game. In most Pokemon games, I'll have you know. So yeah, the fact that they gave it to Red, because it makes sense, because he's the most. But before we came along, he was like the most powerfulest like Pokemon trainer, right? So it makes sense that he can control Mewtwo. You know, like, you know, it'll listen to him and all that. So you know, that was really neat. I really like that. Let me see. What else did I like about the game? I like the fact that that the healing process was a little faster. That saved a lot of time, you know, because typically you'd be there for a few seconds longer than you normally would. So I like the fact that that was quick. Most of the items were kept right where they were, you know, like the key items and all that. So those were pretty neat. Let me see. No, like overall, overall it was an enjoyable experience. You know, it was great. I like the fact that I actually ran across a couple shinies. You know, like I got a shiny. Well, of course you get the Gyarados. You know, that's pretty typical. But I also ran across a shiny Snubbull, which I ended up getting into a Gramble. So I mean, that was pretty cool. Actually getting a shiny in a Nuzlocke. Let me see what else. The baby Pokemon. Actually, you know, those were pretty easy to get. I actually like the fact that some of them were included in the wild. Like Pichu was included. Magby, it wasn't included. I kind of feel like that could have been in the wild as well. Like you could actually put it like in the burnt tower. So that would have been cool. But I like that the egg hatching was a lot faster. I mean, that really helped, you know, whenever it came to getting all the rest of the Pokemon. You know, like no Pokemon was too tough to catch. You know, you just had to, you know, have the right circumstances, like whether it be day and night and whatnot. So yeah, overall a very, very good experience. Most memorable battle? I don't think I really had a most memorable battle, you know, I mean, because I basically trounced everybody and I pretty much trounced like every gym leader pretty easily. Maybe, I mean, the only thing that scared me was probably Whitney. I mean, honestly, there was more Pokemon available, so Whitney wasn't a thing. But, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, man, this chick has that freaking, you know, freaking milk tank, and that sucker's gonna be hard to get past. But nah, that was pretty easy getting out of the way. So, you know, I was glad for that. Yeah. And I like the fact that the Elite Four members and like some Pokemon and like most gym leaders, like they actually had held items on them. So that's pretty cool. Like I like the fact that you get everything. Like what was awesome, and I guess the only thing is if you had a guide, which I did, and I did use here and there. But I like the fact that you can actually get like certain items you wouldn't be able to get like soon. Like for instance, like that. Oh, what's it called? What's that What's that thing called? It's one that increases your rate, your critical rate. Ah, okay. I remember. It was the high scope lens. Yes, that one. Like typically, like I think you would get that game like if you went to the battle tower, which I didn't do. I decided to go and skip that, but yeah, no. But what's cool is that if you know about it, like the first time you fight Bruno, if you're prepared for it and you have like Thief or whatever, your Pokemon's not holding an item, you can actually get that item. What's also cool is like the leftovers, you could also get an early leftovers too, is if you, again, one of the Elite Four members, or maybe even sooner, you can get a leftovers a little earlier, and you can get more than one if you employ that tactic. So hey, that was pretty cool to be able to get like some items that you would only typically be able to get in Kanto a little sooner. So, I mean, that was cool, you know, because whenever I was playing things out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a few, and I'm going to try and steal, like, a few items and all that. So that way I have, like, an extra of something and maybe, like, the high scope lens, which I did use a couple of times. I didn't use it all that often, but, hey, it helped out. But what really helped out was the leftovers. So I did steal me, like maybe, what was it, like 1 or 2 leftovers? Because in the end, I had, like, 3 leftovers, I think. So, hey, that was pretty cool, like, you know, actually having the chance to be able to get, like, later game items, like, a little bit early, you know, if you knew about it and if you were smart about it. So, you know, I really used my brain on that one. Yeah, and then I felt like the teams, like I said, like, all the teams, you know, they were well balanced because those are quite a few Pokemon that were changed and all that. Like, you know, maybe they had earlier evolutions or maybe, like, they had certain skills added. So, you know, that was nice. you know, you could actually evolve certain Pokemon a little earlier is if if you came across some items, because there was some items that I think that weren't available till later on that were available sooner, so that was nice. I also like the fact that you had double items. So whenever you went to the ruins of Alpha, you could actually get double of a few items. So that was actually nice to have like 2 of everything. So because if you had like 2 fire Pokemon or 2 grass Pokemon or something like that, it's nice to be able to have like two of everything, maybe even 3 of everything, depending on how things went, just so that you can double up. So like if, hey, I have 2 grass Pokemon, hey, cool, I have 2 Miracle Seeds, cool, I'll just toss those on there, so that way you're not picking and choosing, like which ones you want to give, and then just give them like an inferior item to the other one. So that was very much appreciated. That was awesome. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Let me see, what else did I enjoy? Okay, I already said the level cap. Oh, you know what I enjoyed? I enjoyed that those certain dialogue given. Like some dialogue was changed to make sense. Like, I like the fact that whenever you fought the Elite Four, the first time it would say the Johto League, but whenever you came back and you fought them later on for the rematches, I like the fact that it went in and it would tell you, hey, you're the Johto champion, you're fighting me again, but now this is for the Kanto League, and this is now you're fighting me as a you're now fighting me for the Kanto League champion instead of the Johto champion. So that, hey, that was pretty cool right there, because it's like, okay, so I went around, fought all the Johto gym leaders so I can gain access to Kanto. Like, okay, hey, you want to fight the toughest boss? You got to fight us again to prove that you can actually handle fighting him. So yeah, but you got to go fight all the Kanto gym leaders first and then come back and fight us. So that's pretty cool how the Johto Champion League and then the Kanto Champion League. Which, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit tougher, but like I said, with team preparation, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. So, I like those added lines. Like I mentioned earlier, I thought it was cool that the rival like had a bit more nuance. What threw me off, and I'm not sure if this was in the original, but whenever I went to Mount Moon and you actually fight the trainer there, that was awesome. And I like how he just gave a bit more exposition, and like how he comes around, like he starts training his Pokemon better. And before you go and fight them the first time, like the Elite Four, like you can fight them in Victory Road. And like the fact that his Pupitar actually evolves early, that was awesome. It's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So like it shows his growth and all that, So hey, that was good on them to add like extra scenes and all that. I mean, that was fantastic. What else did I like? I don't know. I feel like I covered just about everything I said. That I liked about it. I mean, it's an awesome game, well paced. More certain Pokemon you got earlier. And if you took your time, you can actually get baby Pokemon. Added to your team. Like if you're not gonna do a Nuzlocke run, then you can take your time getting baby Pokemon. So that's pretty good. And what's cool is like they threw in a new item for Hitmontop, the brick. That if you put a brick to a Tyrogue, it would evolve to a Hitmontop. So so if you had a hard time putting the stats together, it would evolve with the brick. So I mean that was pretty cool to make it a little easier to get that Pokemon. Oh, I know what I like. I like the fact that once you got to Cinnabar Island, you can actually go and you can buy the evolution stones. So if you had a Pokemon that typically wouldn't evolve earlier, you can get it later. I like the fact that you were able to get Houndoom a little earlier, because you wouldn't be able to get him to like Kanto. Same thing with Murkrow, which there was places available like Houndoom you could get at route, like I can't remember what the route is, but it's the one where the ruins of Alfar. So that was pretty good. And then the Murkrow you can get in the you can get the bug catching where they have the bug catching contest. So that was pretty cool. Oh, and of course, because I was glazing it the whole game, and I was bringing it up, but the running shoes, oh my gosh, that was like a freaking godsend right there. Like it sped up the game so much, because it took me a lot less whenever I was back traveling or what have you. Like I could just speed through with the running shoes. Love those things. Can't glaze those things enough. So yeah, there you go. That's probably like one of the last things I liked. So yeah. As far as things I didn't like the fact that you couldn't rebattle the Kanto gym leaders. So that's about it. But I'm assuming that's going to be added because according to what I've read, they plan to include an expansion to it. But that's probably going to be further out. Like, it's been a while since it's come out. Like, like a year or two by now? Because I think this says 2003 according to that right there. So it's been 2 years. So yeah, but according to this, that they plan to eventually like go back and, expand it. I don't know what they're going to do with the Pokemon Crystal Legacy, but I guess we'll end up finding out whenever that time comes. So I guess I have to wait. But I'm sure that's one of the things that'll be added is to be able to rebattle the, the Kanto Gym Leaders. So yeah, but that's about the only thing I didn't like about it. So, I'm sure many of you have the burning question of wanting to ask me, Dracula, are you going to be continuing the Pokemon Legacy series? Are you going to play Emerald Legacy? And the answer to your question is yes. Yes, I am. I am continuing to Emerald Legacy. And just because you guys decided to stop by and watch this video, I'm going to give you a small look at the layout that I made for it. So without further ado, here's the Emerald Legacy layout. Alright, and there it is. As you can see, you have everything here. Pokemon's gonna go with Pokemon items are gonna go on the bottom. There's the attempts, deaths, and level cap. Out to the side, you see the where the badges are gonna go, and then there you see my trainer card. A couple things, like this isn't like set in stone. There might be a few things that'll probably change from here to there. Like for one, I don't exactly care how my trainer card looks. It's a bit fuzzy, but I guess you could chalk it up to it being like an old-fashioned trainer card. So I guess I could, I guess I can go with that. So I'll either like I'll probably if anything, that's probably the only thing that'll get changed from here till now is maybe the trainer card. Maybe I'll blow up the picture or something. Maybe make the face a little bit bigger or blow it up or something. So yeah, but this is kind of more or less what it's gonna look like. If you have any suggestions, to what I could add or subtract from the layout, let me know. Just comment down below and give me your suggestions. Maybe I'll take them, maybe I won't, but you won't know unless you comment below. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It took me. I've been working on that. I've been working on that for quite a while. Like I said, it's still not completely set in stone, like I said. Well, hopefully by the time I get up to playing it, I'll have it ready. I am gonna take a small break though. I will let you know, just because it took me a while for me to get through Crystal Legacy. So I'm gonna probably take about a week or so off, and before I start Emerald Legacy, just to mentally prepare myself for that. And I guess to kind of chart everything down. Like see like what Pokemon I might catch where, how my team compositions are gonna be, just to get all the like logistics out of the way, So I'm gonna use my time for that. But don't worry, like I'll still be uploading videos, like I'll still do like my reaction videos. I'll, maybe I'll play like a couple games in between while I'm preparing myself. So don't worry, there's still gonna be plenty of content for you guys to be able to consume here. I'm not gonna leave you without nothing. I love you guys, I love my audience. So yeah, I can't do y'all like that. I have to keep y'all, entertained. You guys are my Draculites, and you'll be. I'm sure you'll be sad if you don't see, Caliburn. I know you love my little dragon. I know you love that little guy. Heck, that's probably half the reason why you guys started following me or whatever, just so you can see, Caliburn jumping around everywhere. Yeah, he's a cute little guy. Love that little dragon. I really do. I'm glad I found him when I was adventuring. But hey, you guys know how it is and how it goes. Yeah, but I guess that's gonna do it for my final thoughts of Crystal Legacy. It was great. I'm hoping that Smith Plays and his team come back and they actually do finish the expansion for it. And if that happens, then hey, I can always come back and I can show you the expansion and we can continue Crystal Legacy like that. So yeah, I hope you guys will tune in for whenever that happens. Like I said, it's been 2 years. I don't know if they're actually going to continue it, but if they do, hey, that'll be more content for this game, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to continue it. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and leave things off here so you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I, continue Crystal Legacy. and continue that journey. And I hope you join me for that one. So pitter patter yourselves out of here. Stay out of trouble. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. And yeah, you guys have a good day, evening, night, whatever time of day it is, wherever you're at.